What up, yo?
A ghost.
A gaist.
What's up, pups? How you guys doing today? Happy Wednesday. It is Wednesday, Hump Day. Reaching once again closer to that weekend. That wonderful weekend. But hopefully everyone is doing well. I am. Slowly but surely, overcoming things, which is always good. What is up, Loki? How you doing? But yes, it is another episode of the Power Up Podcast, show that is dedicated to just checking out pop culture, see how it's doing, seeing if there's any good things on the horizon or bad things that are happening, or even maybe some spiritual things that are taking place that we can talk about, give our 2 cents in, and hopefully overcome any disasters, I guess you could say. But right now we are live on YouTube, on Kick, on Rumble, on X. So make sure to like and subscribe all on those platforms, and make sure to turn on notifications to get notified when I go live, whether that's for the Power Up Podcast or my game streaming, which we are slowly winding down on completing Onimusha Dawn of Dreams. Unfortunately, did not hold up to what I was hoping it would in terms of the series, because it has shifted. It's an okay game, but alas, I feel like it could have been way better. But we got a good chunk to talk about. Lots of stuff happening. So, we'll take a look into that. Topics include, I guess, the Xbox Game Pass price is getting hiked up. We also got, supposedly, the anime bubble could burst at any moment. Tying into anime, which was probably going to be our main topic, is old Crunchyroll. I don't know if they since changed it since I saw this. Apparently it was at least a day ago, but they have disabled comments in order to fight the disgusting and horrendous, shadowy figure that is misinformation, which ultimately in the end, any sort of misinformation, at least in my observation, seems to come from the side that says, you guys are doing misinformation. Worded that terribly, but in short, people who usually say that project that onto others because they are the ones that are actually doing it. And then hopefully some good stuff. Apparently a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game is getting, I guess, coming to PC, Splintered Fate. So I don't know if that's a good game or not, but it's coming to PC. We'll check it out. And supposedly Arc System is working on a new 3D Double Dragon. So we'll check those out. So without further ado, and then, of course, I kind of want to talk about something that I watched, and that was on the Side Scrollers podcast, where they had Nick Calandra, or whatever his name is. He was not happy when Stuttering Craig announced that, we're taking memberships on Take Back Games, or the Real Game Awards, and promoting that, ultimately, trying to return it back to the way it was in terms of people who actually enjoy games should have the voice, while the AAA corporations and CEOs and woke garbage stay completely out of it. Nick took issue with that, and he went on Craig's show to explain himself and did a horrendous job once again. Ultimately, it just kept going in circles. And of course, the irony of everything is that the projection from Nick was hilariously retarded. I think I also watched him that he was on the show last time that he came on, and it was the same thing all over. So we can kind of look into that while we're at it as well. That one is more, I think, on X here, which I should have gotten that set up here, but I did not because, I'm gay. And that would be thinking too far ahead, But Take Games Back, Real Game Awards. Apparently, when Craig announced it, some people got super salty. Super salty, so we'll look into that. Right now, we've got Niche Gamer. Xbox Game Pass price hike announced with new tier that doesn't have day one releases. Right away, this immediately for me just goes to show, get a physical copy. Get a physical copy. Get a copy in some way, shape, or form. I'm not responsible on how you try to do that, but have a copy in which you actually own and have. Because if you're just going to rely on the big companies giving you game passes to where, you can unlock all our catalog, but then they're going to slowly hike up the price more and more and more because they want to go more that digital route into where you don't really own anything. You got to get out of that fast because we just need to have physical. We need to go back to physical media, and we need to tell the game companies that we want physical media. And the only reason why people want to go digital is because they're purposely giving the digital copies, benefits such as early access and all that stuff. So Microsoft has announced a new price hike, an overhaul of its Game Pass subscription service structure and offerings while creating a brand new tier. So the first price hike in Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, which increasing from $16.99 to $19.99 per month. The features of this tier are not changing. The PC Game Pass is also increasing in price from pretty much $10 to $12 a month and will remain unchanged. The basic level $9.99 Xbox Game Pass tier will become unavailable tomorrow. So that would be, according to this article today, July 10th, and will be replaced by a $15.99 Xbox Game Pass standard tier. Okay, so the new Xbox Game Pass standard tier will no longer have access to first-party games on day one and does not have cloud gaming, though it will now have multiplayer access on console. Previously, this was only an unlimited tier perk. Or take away games, or take the games away off from the pass. Yep. So despite cutting off their baseline... Uh-oh. That was weird. Had like a weird rumble glitch on my end. Hopefully everything is all right. Must be might have been maybe old Microsoft Edge, because heaven forbid that works. Because I only did that on the thing. Anyway, so the new Xbox Game Pass tier will no longer have access to first-party games on day one, but they changed it to where it could have multiplayer access. Despite cutting off their baseline Game Pass tier, the company will let existing Xbox Game Pass subscriptions to continue, but new users will only be able to go standard or ultimate after the changes happen. The new Xbox Game Pass standard tier will roll out in the coming months. Unlike previous Xbox Game Pass price hikes that affected most non-American countries, the new prices are global. Of course it is. You can check your new regional price here. Furthermore, beginning on September 18th, users will no longer be able to stack more than 13 months of Xbox Game Pass vouchers. Users did this with monthly vouchers on sale to save big, though the stack feature will remain in that limited amount and won't affect existing stacked of redeemed vouchers. Well, that's garbage. Yeah, these companies getting mad that customers are like, dude, I'm going to save money as much as I can and we'll just stack. And it's like, no, you got to spend it now. Gosh, dude, Xbox, bunch of bitches. But again, like I said, all the more reason just to go physical. And it's almost to the point where, honestly, don't let the, not so much the greed, but I'll use the term greed. Don't let the greed of having the idea of multiple games at your fingertips overtake you in terms of going physical. Like, get the games that you actually want to have physical, and don't be tempted in by no matter how cheap the price is, or, oh, by doing this, you'll get access to all of this stuff. Because at some point it's going to change. And at that point, it could be as something as simple as, well, you guys hiked the price, so I'm not going to buy it anymore. Or you'll just go along with it. But it gives these companies power in the sense of they can just keep hiking the prices, and people will be gullible enough to go ahead and do it. I mean, and then of course you have like Steam that does those Steam sales that we see all the time, which, yeah, that's kind of the same thing. And sometimes even the games don't even work, but then the modding community steps in and makes adjustments to, now you can play this game. So to me, it's just, I know for me, I'm really trying to bunker down on, like, if I'm going to get a game, it's going to be a game that I want to replay at some point, and it's something that I actually care about, So Video Game Chronicles also covered this Xbox Game Pass increase. So let's see what they have to say, if they have any new information as well. So from July 10th, the platform holders top Xbox Game Pass Ultimate tier, which includes PC Game Pass, Day One games, back catalog titles, online play, and cloud gaming, will increase in price to $20 or $14.99 or €17.99. What is that, pounds? £14.99 per month, up to 16, and then all that stuff. PC Game Pass will also increase. Oh, I thought they said it wasn't going to be affected, but now this is saying it's going to be increased to $11.99. I thought it was $10.99. Excuse me. So they announced that on Tuesday and include all current benefits, including day one releases. Significantly, Microsoft said that starting this week, it will retire its Xbox Game Pass for the console tier for new users. This will soon be replaced with a new $14.99 standard tier, which will include access to a back catalog of games and online play, but no one-day releases or cloud gaming. And then some games available with Xbox Game Pass Ultimate on day one will not be immediately available with Xbox Game Pass Standard and may be added to the library at a future date, Microsoft said. And they're purposely setting this up to where they kind of they're trying to coerce you, be like, just go ahead and pay the extra just to get the Ultimate Pass, because you want to play the game right away, don't you? Users currently subscribed to Xbox Game Pass for console will be allowed to maintain their subscription, Microsoft said, including access to day one games. However, if at any time these users turn off their automatic payment renewal and their membership lapse, they will no longer have access to Game Pass for console and will need to join one of the other's plans, it said. I think that's me, because I think I disabled my automatic stuff because right now I don't have a graphics card and I'm doing a lot of PC gaming or playing on my computer. So, why pay for something that I'm not using for the moment? And then for September 12th, Microsoft will only allow users to stack, the Xbox Game Pass for console users for up to 13 months, it said. And then the Game Pass Core, previously Xbox Live Gold, enabling online multiplayer, will receive an annual price to $74.99. What? Up from $60, but will remain $9.99 a month. Ridiculous. We create a Game Pass to offer players more choice in how they discover and play a game. Yeah, but you're purposely making it so that the best offers you have is the most high tier one. That includes offering different prices and plans so players can find what works best for them. Except all the stuff that makes you unable to, play online or get day one access and stuff like that. Yeah. Oh, this is foolish. This month's price change marks the second consecutive year Microsoft has raised Game Pass prices, months after the company dismissed suggestions that it could raise prices following its $69 billion merger with Activision Blizzard. Later this year, Call of Duty Black Ops 6 will launch day one to Game Pass, marking the first time any Call of Duty game has been included in such a service at launch. Commenting on last year's price rises, Carrie Perez, Microsoft's head of gaming communications, told Video Game Chronicle at the time, "We've held on our prices for consoles for many years and have adjusted the price to reflect the competitive condition in each market." And then here's their official Q&A for all this stuff that you could read here. It sounds to me like they're a bunch of scumbags. And it's only going to get worse to where, because they know people are just going to be like, well, I want to get that day one access and I want to be able to play multiplayer online and XYZ and blah, 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 that they'll just go ahead and keep getting the ultimate tier one, and they're just going to keep raking up the prices. It's absolutely ridiculous and it's foolish. That's kind of why, like, I've only online stuff that I play is like free when I can. I don't want to buy a pass just so I can play online. And unfortunately, people are just going to fall victim to it. All the more reason to just own your games. Do what you can to own your games and just leave it at that. Like, I don't believe for a fact that these companies truly are listening to people. I mean, their numbers say that, oh, everyone's going digital. In the end, digital is, it's just going to be better. It's like, yeah, because you're purposely setting it up to where the best option is to be digital. Because you're purposely making it so that all the features that one should just get normally is only available in the Ultimate Pack or Pass or whatever you want to call it. 100% garbage. So all the more reason why I say to just try to start building a game collection if you want, of games that you actually care about and that you actually own. So that's my thoughts on Xbox Game Pass. Again, I think it's scummy and it's only going to get worse. So moving on, next here is that today on the Side Scroller podcast, Nick Calandra, who, by the way, has blocked me on X, by the way, because I called him out for being what was it? What did I say? He was a projecting clown, is what I called him. And he blocked me. And apparently he on the show, he stated that he went on a big blocking spree, which I'm not losing sleep overnight. But we have Stuttering Craig, who has been on the show. Like the guy. For sure would like him to come back on the show and hang out at some point. Excuse me. So he launched Real Game Awards. And the people who work in or write about the industry you love, hate you, and then with the goal of let's take action, reclaim our voice in the video game community. And I think that's true. He launched the Real Game Awards, and a lot of people are definitely resonating to it, but a lot of people are not. Hence, Nick Calandra here, who came on the show today to express his distaste of why he doesn't like what he's saying. And Nick was trying to give this idea that, well, I just don't like the message that you're preaching. Well, that's exactly why it's happening. So, unfortunately, I don't have his post anymore because he blocked me. But let's go ahead and listen to this real quick to hear him talk about what that said. Here's why he and other members of the Game Access Media will not be on the board of directors of the Real Gaming Awards, which ultimately Craig has stated in the show that the board of directors are really just people who are trying to organize the event and stuff.
Good. How are you guys doing? Good, man. Welcome back. It's been a few months on the show. How have you been? Not too bad. I twitch a little bit. My neck is completely cheeked up. So.
Oh, boo-hoo.
That's okay. Well, we appreciate you coming on, man, because most people wouldn't, and I think it's big of you to do that.
It's big, but ultimately it led to nowhere because all he did was just talk in circles and stuff like that, and did a piss poor job in explaining about his reasoning for not liking the Real Game Awards.
Just even this weekend, we talked about getting you on the show with Smash because you and Smash were going back and forth. And I think it's important that we actually show people that you can actually have a conversation. So I appreciate you coming on to have a conversation.
Definitely props for Craig for doing about this. For me, it's getting to the point where we know what these people are going to say and we know what these people are going to do. So there's really no point in listening to them explain themselves because it's clearly shown by their actions, especially when they say one thing and then they do another. So props to Craig for having that, reaching across the aisle to hear what other people say. I have no means a problem listening to opposing views and stuff like that, but it's getting to the point where we know exactly what the opposition is going to say, and a lot of it is actually just pure projection from them onto other people because, of course, they're the victim. They're the ones being harassed and XYZ and all that stuff, and that it's really our fault that everything is happening. And then when clearly shown evidence that it's not that case, the goalposts move.
So you have been, you're very critical of this idea of the Real Game Awards. Tell me why.
I'm not exactly critical of the Real Game Awards. I mean, I've been critical of Keeley's Game Awards for the exact same reasons why.
So it could be true that you're critical for, against these awards that you just named off and stuff like that. But who do you constantly respond to? That's the real question. And it gets brought up earlier.
It's too showy, it's too corporate, and all that. I think my biggest criticism of what you're doing here is if you want it to be taken seriously and legitimized amongst a wider audience,
which we don't.
Why don't you?
Because I think that's exactly. We have no interest in being taken seriously by journalists or
That's not what
any member of the access media.
Sure. That's not exactly what I mean. I mean, I think my biggest criticism.
So that's not what you mean.
What you're doing here is, if you want it to be taken seriously and legitimized amongst a wider audience.
If you want to be taken seriously and legitimized by the wider audience, I mean, that's pretty clear cut. Exactly what you're talking about. And now you're trying to backpedal and say, well, that's not what I mean. You just said the wider audience. See, they'll either purposely leave it this vague so that when Craig immediately has said, no, like if you're talking like for these people, no, absolutely. Then they can backtrack and say, well, technically I didn't say that, and this again, because if you guys, I think I talked about him on a past show. If we understand how these people work, and someone like Nick Calandra did, is there are screenshots out there of him telling his Discord people to go, pretty much go mass flag. He is 100% fine with someone being financially destroyed. He'll claim that that's taken out of context and stuff like that. But I mean, it's pretty cut and dry of what you're trying to do here. These are signs of people These are people that have found a way to be abusive, but think they're super clever in hiding the bruises or leaving bruises in areas to where then they can I technically didn't do anything. Well, I didn't want the person like destroyed or anything like that. I just want him to be financially unstable, which later on ultimately leads to problems down the road. It's because if these people do these mental gymnastics to where, because the pain and hurt doesn't happen right then and there, their conscience is clear of it. It's either that or they're purposely doing it. They purposely do it and they're scumbags.
Because I think that's exactly. We have no interest in being taken seriously by journalists or any member of the.
But let's be real here too. Journalists from back in the day are not the journalists of today. Let's also be clear about that too. So I'm 100% with Craig here of like, yeah, I immediately will disregard any sort of critique from journalist in any shape and form.
Sure. That's not exactly what I mean. I mean more just in bringing in a wider audience.
What do you bringing in a wider audience, but yet you didn't give specifically what do you mean by a wider audience? Because Craig has already made it explicitly clear of who the audience is in multiple listings, in multiple posts, and multiple explanations of what the gameplay. You can't hear the clips playing? Ah, fuck.
The people that would actually want to watch it.
Is that playing right now?
Here's my thing. I think that the wider audience.
Can you hear that? He's become Stingy from Lazy Town. I have it paused right now.
Good, how are you guys doing?
Let me.
Good, man. Welcome back. It's been a few months since you've been on the show. How have you been?
Not too bad. Trying to, if I twitch a little bit,
About that too. So I'm 100% on right now. I have it paused right now. Let me. Okay. Your browser supports screen share audio capture. Continue with screen sharing. Okay. Also share audio tab. Alrighty.
my neck is completely kinked.
Okay. Your browser supports screen share audio capture. Continue with screen sharing. Okay. Also share audio tab. Alright. Boomer moment. Yeah, it's like very quiet. Maybe it's because my dude, really? Rumble Studios, why you do this to me? Well, here, we'll do this. Nothing but peak professionalism with my show. Very low. Rumble Studio is a bit new. Yeah. Okay. We're gonna unmute this. So now I'm hearing it on my end. Here, let's cancel this real quick. And let's bring this back up. Not a bit of audio coming out of it. Dude, what the fuck? What the hell? It's because I'm going through OBS. Probably. Yeah. Okay. Let me go ahead. Here, we'll do this. We're going to solve this tech issue on the spot. Okay. Let's go ahead and add speakers. Undo that.
talked about coming on the show.
Just add the sort. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do, but it might be this weird thing where I have to like re-add it again. I am in troubleshooting, Greg. Yep, I am the best. Okay, let's do this again. So, audio output capture, speakers, properties. Do that.
What you're doing here is, if you want it to be taken seriously and legitimized amongst the wider.
All right, not as a window, but as a game. Did you guys hear that? Should be.
Good. How are you guys doing?
Good, man. Welcome back. It's been a few months since you've been on the show. How have you been?
Not too bad. Trying to,
Yeah, I think we got it. All right. All right. Audio's better. I'll increase it a smidgen.
Good. How are you guys doing?
Good, man. Welcome back. It's been a few months since you've been on
I've
the
just
show.
been
How
going
have you
through OBS just because I can do a lot more stuff. It works and sounds right. Sweet. Okay. Well, that's annoying. Yeah, I guess I should have just had everything set up in OBS and not go through to Rumble here. But I still want to make sure that, like, when I do, like, throw to a clip or something, that it still gets played. Like, let me just test to make sure. That's a rather long clip. Here, we'll try this one. Here we go. Like throw to a clip or something that it still gets played. Like, let me just test to make sure. That's a rather long clip. Here, we'll try this one. Here we go. Okay, that worked. Sweet. There's a delay on YouTube because when I set up a schedule thing in Rumble Studios, I can't adjust it doesn't make a YouTube scheduled thing yet for whatever reason. Alrighty, nothing but peak professionalism here on the Power Up Podcast show. Okay, for heaven's sakes, let's do this again. Stuttering Crack started the Real Game Awards. People responded positively to it. People like Nick did not respond positively to it because he didn't like the message. The message being that the concept of gatekeeping is kind of being implemented in this, which is absolutely necessary, I believe, because the people who have infested it and have corrupted video game industry with taking established franchises and adapting it for a modern audience either hate video games, they never cared about it, or they're purposely wanting to destroy it. So now, once again, let us hear what Nick has to say about his thoughts.
Not too bad. Trying to, if I twitch a little bit, my neck is completely kinked up, so I may be a little bit not giving you guys the looks.
That's okay, man, because and I think it's important that coming on to have a
conversation. Okay, so he pretty much talks about like
of this idea.
He's pretty much talking about like, yeah, thank you for coming on. You were, you have the balls to come on to explain, your side of the reasoning. I stated earlier that we've heard enough from these people that there's really no reason to talk to him, at least for me at this point. Like, would I ever have him on the show to explain himself? No, because I know where he stands. And it's a matter of listening to what they claim they say and then watching their actions do. And we've seen it, how these people act in terms of, the Discord screenshots that we've seen and stuff. Of course, which he says that, well, that's completely taken out of context. I'm the victim. I'm this, blah, 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 blah.
Of the real game.
I mean, I've been critical of Keeley's Game Awards for the exact same reasons why you're doing this. I think it's too showy, it's too corporate, and all that. I think my biggest criticism of what you're doing here is, if you want it to be taken seriously and legitimized amongst the wider audience,
which we don't.
Why don't you?
Okay, so right there he said, if you want to be taken seriously and legitimized or whatever that fucking word that apparently I can't say because I'm stumbling over it, to a wider audience. And again, notice how vague they make these. These people make these vague kind of statements just so that if they get caught with their pants down or what have you, and get caught lying and whatnot, they have something to fall back to where, and he says this constantly, is I never said that. I technically never really said that. But we know what the implications are. Like Dennis Reynolds, but of the implications. She can say no if she doesn't want to, but she won't because of the implications. This is how these people work. This is why they're constantly changing the definitions so that it can be so vague and so extreme that they can find a way to weasel out of any sort of accountability and whatnot, because they have no platform to stand on, because they know what they're saying is absolute bullshit and garbage. And I compared it to that of an abuser who thinks that they're clever and they're hitting and striking people and making bruises at spots that no one will dare think they'll look here. But now it's getting to the point where they're just being open and honest about it, and they don't care if if people find the bruises and whatnot.
Media.
Sure. That's not exactly what I mean. I mean, more just in
that's not exactly what I mean. Well, then why didn't you state exactly what you meant? Because that seems like a pretty cut and clear statement that I think in order to be legitimate and expand to a wider audience. Scotty says, I'm going to have fun relearning how to use OBS. Ow. Well, I'm using an ingestion. I could just be using Rumble's built-in thing, but I'm not super happy with it. But I might go back to it just to make it easier.
I actually want to watch it.
So here's my thing. I think that the wider audience, the regular person.
I hate vague statements like that. It always leads to trouble for you and everyone. Exactly. But the thing is that he's passing it off like it was a cold cut dry statement. But it's not, and it's vague, just so he can backtrack and say, well, that's not what I meant.
The normal man who watches our show.
And Craig has been straight up 100% forward of this is exactly why we're doing this.
More them than there are of the niche bubble activist who works inside the industry. And that's who our audience is. Our audience is the people who grew up playing games, saw a dramatic shift in the last few years, and are saying, what the hell's happening? What just happened to video games? Why these games that we loved, why does everything need to have some sort of social agenda attached to it, when that's never been a thing ever in entertainment, and up until the last few years it's been. So a lot of people in our audience in particular have their head spinning, and industry input that have your advertising.
So this is just a small clip, but
by our audience, so we don't have to have, as so eloquently put by Mark the Cyborg, it's either going to be a member funded event or it's a marketing event, and this is not a marketing event. And
the ultimate irony of everything here is that when they do it, it's doing it for a good cause. It's doing it for this, it's to make things right because we're on the right side of history and we're showcasing diversity and stuff like that. But when it's, us, we're the grifters, we're the bad guys. We're just doing this for the money.
This is meant to be an event that is built for people who like the show, for that you obviously did this for a long time and such. And that's why I said anybody can truly vote on this. Literally anybody, right?
Sure.
But as far as we have some specific rules when it comes to our board of directors, which I know you're not a big fan of our board of directors. It is what it is. You're going to like people, you're going to not like people, but those rules are pretty simple, right? And when it comes to all this, as
you reached out to other people that
as we possibly can
for that board, have you reached out to other people that
absolutely
disagree with you?
100%, absolutely, yes. And to be
So that's good that Craig is doing that. As me personally, if I was running this and he asked, have I reached out to people who disagree with you? I'd probably say no, because I have no interest in hearing what they have to say, because they've already shown me what their intentions are. That's the thing. And that's kind of like with trying to remember, trying to find an example here, but I can't recall. So we know that people like Nick can't take criticism because any sort of criticism is apparently an attack on them and XYZ and whatnot. This is why you don't apologize to these sort of people, because they'll just dangle your apology over your head forever to keep you down, or it's not going to be enough, or this or that. We've seen it happen with Vic, and we've seen it happen with other people and whatnot. The idea of criticism is destroyed based on how it was in the past, because in the past we could take criticism, whether it's negative or positive criticism, and we could take that and do with what you will. Nowadays, it's just any sort of criticism is just bad, and that you're XYZ. You're this and you're that. So it's gotten to the point to, who would you rather listen to criticism? Who would you rather take your criticism? Because this is another trick that they do, is they'll just repeat the criticism of people who support them or on your side, your ideology, and they'll say the same thing. But what is the intention behind it? Would you rather take criticism of someone who has similar ideologies like you do and go, yeah, I'll take that in consideration, because they're actually giving it to you like, hey, this is what I think. Here's some criticism. Maybe you should apply it. Or would you rather take that exact same criticism from these type of people who, if you did agree with them, would then go, you see, I was right all along, dangle it over your head, not accept your apology, because it isn't enough XYZ. It's gotten to that point. So who would you rather listen to? Me? It's getting to the point where I'm not listening to people like Nick. I have no interest in listening to people like Nick. I've seen enough of his examples to where he's a scumbag and he projects everything else, and he would not accept the apology. You just know these people won't. So why would you even listen? Why even give them the opportunity of, well, why aren't you're just not listening to our criticism? It's like, yeah, because we know how you guys act at this point. And they get mad because you finally draw the line in the sand and say, fuck you, I'm not listening to you. And then they get butthurt about it when you don't listen to them, because you see their schemes and their lies.
Be clear,
I don't know if I explained that well, but hopefully my message got across in some way, shape, and form.
They're not allowed to vote. They can't be on any press list or AAA developer, receive any sort of perks, and you can't work for traditional gaming access media, right? I think that's pretty basic rules. When you're trying to do a show that's for gamers by gamers, I think having those rules associated with it are there. Question for you: are you on any press lists or receive any perks from AAA gamers or AAA publishers?
What do you consider perks? Review codes?
Review codes, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. So you wouldn't be eligible for a board.
All right, so that's pretty much the end of the clip. You guys, obviously, go check out Side Scrollers podcast. Craig, I love everyone on there. They're awesome. Really enjoying the show. I've had Craig on my show. Really cool dude. So yeah. You can just read his stuff. He's a liar. So this comment in particular is something that I find hilarious. I'm part of the audience Nick wanted to clue you into. I like the idea of a non-corporate award show. X'd out on that one. I just don't believe you. And we'll just point that out right there. Go back. But I'm hugely put off by your anti-woke grievances. This won't succeed if that's the core of it. See also every other attempt to make a non-woke version of a mainstream thing. So the ultimate irony, I think, about this guy's statement is that we have successfully seen video games that have an anti-woke, that, we've successfully seen it to where this actual, like having an his anti-woke grievances are pretty much make games and keep wokeness out of it and stuff. We have seen it succeeded. You want to know where it succeeded? Literally video game history, literally from the past. People who try to bring up video games have always been political are fucking retarded. And they're retarded because that is exactly the reason of what people like. I can only speak for myself, but I would like to think that Craig also thinks this way, and Melanie and all those people and stuff like that, is when we say we want it back to the way it was, is that there was diversity back in the day, except all the politics and the ideology was kept behind the scenes and did not affect the final product. Whatever ideology that these people try to claim, well, it's always been like that, was written in the video game for that specific game. What these people are doing now is taking franchises that they have declared are now problematic and say, we need to fix this so that it's up to date with the modern audience. And we are great people for doing this because we are just showcasing on how awesome we are and how advanced we are in bringing humanity closer together for equality and stuff like that. They are doing this only for clout. That is what they're talking about. So this guy has no clue what he's talking about because it has succeeded, this idea of non-corporate award shows, but him being put off because of his anti-woke grievances. It works, and it will succeed. And how do I know that it succeeded? Because it's literally what games were back in the day. Like, these people have no self-awareness whatsoever. And then they try to bring in this idea of like, oh, video games have always been political. Maybe in the story, there was some sort of political ideology that was written inside there, but that was the product that the video game has established and the creators wanted to share. That is completely different than taking a franchise that has already been established and then going back to it and saying, oh yeah, all this stuff, well, that's not cool now. So now we've got to make it for a modern audience and rectify everything and retcon it. Completely different. And these people are trying to lie to you by saying, this is how it's always been. It's the same bullshit they pull in with anime. Notice how anime now is all of a sudden, it's all about transgenderism and LGBTQ and XYZ and all that stuff. It wasn't. Anime was never about that. Was it a specific niche or a specific genre of the umbrella term that is anime? Yes. Is it the heart and soul of anime? Absolutely not. But these people, again, rewrite history to make it so that they are constantly perceived as the people who has corrected a grave error in humanity and stuff, because these people cannot handle history because they are so weak-minded. So like I said, you could watch the whole thing, but I just that was kind of like the main thing I wanted to point out is don't listen to these people that are like, why do you have such an anti-woke message inside of here? Yeah, because wokeness wasn't involved back in the day. Back in the 80s and the 90s video game, none of that shit affected the video game. If anything, that shit was kept behind scenes and people were told to shut the fuck up and just make a good video game. We started seeing that a little bit in the early 2000s, but ultimately they were still gatekeeped out. But ironically, after bad Orange Man became president, now it's a grave thing that needs to be justified and retconned and fixed. That's pretty much, I mean, there's more to it than that. Like I said, if you guys want to watch the whole corporation and stuff, you can. But ultimately, that's what the bullshit about everything is. pronouns in bio every time. I used to be like that, but then I thought about it and got over myself, especially now that I'm opening myself to more stuff. You know, these people throw the eggs on the ground and then demand that you don't step on the eggshells. And then when you straight up just crunch over them and plow right through them, they get ass mad about it because you didn't follow their rules. It's at some point you're going to have to pick a side. And we've seen how much these people act in terms of picking a side and who they are as people.
So I may be a little bit not giving you.
Do not listen to their lies.
And I think it's important that.
But I like to point out that this guy blocked me on Twitter, which I'm not losing sleep over it. But good video, or should I say, yeah, good episode of Side Score Podcast. I'd say check it out. And if the Real Game Awards sound enticing to you, go check that out too. They take this so seriously that they take whatever criticism or self-perceived threat to their ego. Exactly. And that's why it's okay for them to go out and false flag, websites like Smash JT because, oh no, a GitHub has a list and it's a disgusting list and we are concerned for the safety. So we successfully got that removed off of GitHub. And whoa, my goodness gracious, Smash JT has that list on his website. So we got to contact Wix and take that down, for safety reasons. And yet, literally screenshots of his Discord saying that none of these guys would come up to me in a bar and start shit because I'd be kicked out because I'd get into a fight is ultimately what he said. What a narcissistic little bitch. As if anyone would really give a shit who you are and would even want to engage you in a damn bar. Like, oh my gosh. Yeah, it's okay for them to do it because, again, we're fighting for equality and diversity and the safety of other people. Oh, but getting your website shut down, necessarily going after your financial stuff, that sort of safety that people have, that financial safety, it's okay to destroy that. I noticed while watching, video games have not always been political. The first game I ever played was a bunch of pixels on a screen and you had to use a tractor to plow some land. That's it. Exactly. And then these people play dumb and ignorant, like, oh, it was always political. Oh, really? It always was political. Yeah, how does a farming simulator, how's that political? Should that get taken down because, farmers are the backbones of America or whatever? They always have an excuse. Always have an excuse on how they're always right about everything. But this one's a kind of the main topic that I wanted to talk about because we're already going over an hour here, which mostly due to technological errors on my end. But we got that situated. So Sony-owned Crunchyroll disables comments, user reviews in order to reduce harmful content and, quote, prevent misinformation. Well, if that's the case, Crunchyroll, you should shut down your entire website because the way I've seen you guys localize anime, you guys are spreading misinformation every day. So, again, kettle calling, what is it? Kettle calling that's not calling the kettle black. I don't know why all of a sudden that saying slipped my mind, but you get what I'm saying. So in a purported attempt to foster a, quote, a safer, more respectable, and higher equivalent environment, Crunchyroll has reportedly disabled the ability for users to leave comments, including reviews across the entirety of their anime streaming platform. Gay. This change was first brought to public attention courtesy of a July 7th post made by a Reddit user, whoever from the unofficial Crunchyroll subreddit, finished an episode of a show and made a comment, switched apps, and then came back to find the comment section gone. They relayed to their fellow platform users, though it was a bug, but apparently they thought it was a bug, but apparently they decided to suddenly blanket wipe everything. In support of their claim, this person then shared a trio of screenshots showing a purported conversation they had with a member of Crunchyroll's support team in the immediate aftermath of their discovery. Therein, the support member can be seen confirming the exchange, or the change, explaining to this Reddit person, to maintain a safe, respectful, and high-quality environment. You guys butcher the localization all the time. So that's by no means high quality, let alone a high-quality environment. For our community, we have decided to remove all existing comments and disable the ability to comment on our platform, including comments on new articles. Reddit every day and time. The kettle calling the pot black. That's it. I knew I was missing a key element from that phrase. Oh, my mind's like running a mile an hour, as Michael Scott would say. So apparently here's the... that fast, huh? So here apparently is the screenshot to confirm it. This change helps us reduce harmful content, prevent misinformation, and improve overall user experience. Again, I pointed out the irony of the fact that you literally don't correctly translate the dubs when localizing the anime. So your entire website and the entire service should be shut down because you've been bastardizing it for God knows how long. If you have any further questions or need assistance, please let us know. Is this for everyone? Okay, so whatever. This change help us. Okay, this is for every Crunchyroll customer. Good thing I don't have Crunchyroll, because you can sail the seven seas if you so desire. Met with disappointment from this person in their hope that the decision is reversed soon, the support team member ultimately asserted this decision was made to ensure a safer, more respectful, and higher quality environment for all our users. This is not your damn responsibility. For heaven's sakes, just shut up. Localize your anime in a respectful manner that honors the artwork from Japan, and shut the fuck up. Oh my gosh, this garbage of making these safe spaces is getting so tiresome. So tiresome. And this is why the monopoly in anime is getting worse and worse. Because when one specific company has the money to grab all of the licenses to make dubbing and XYZ, they're going to be pulling bullshit like this. To where they're ultimately making it to where if you want to get actual anime that is translated correctly or the subs are done correctly, you got to sail the seven seas, or you got to go out and look at fan translations. Because at least the fans actually give a shit. They actually care more about anime than the people in the industry actually do. While I enjoyed Mashal, the dub localization had some hit and misses, especially regarding one character who was made to be trans or something dumb. Hard as female kind of thing. I watched Mashal. I thought it was pretty good, but I think I watched it in Japanese because I'm not retarded. I'm just kidding. I don't care what you do, but I think localization nowadays, your best bet is probably watching it in Japanese and through other means than Crunchyroll. So following the public reveal of this change, Crunchyroll updated their official support and customer service page to add a brief section detailing at Crunchyroll, reprioritize creating a safe and respectful... What did I literally just say? What did I just say? It's literally a video streaming service. I wouldn't care so much if literally there was no comments to begin with. If it was just that from the get-go, then it wouldn't matter, because people would just understand, okay, it's literally a video game an anime video streaming service. But it's the fact that we've seen how the industry is and how much they fist woke ideology inside of it, that now they have to protect specific people to make sure that their feelings don't get hurt. Ugh. Mashal was awesome. I watched it dubbed out of curiosity. We'll give it another watch and sub next time. Let's see. I watched season 1 subbed, at least. So at Crunchyroll, we prioritize creating a safe, respectful community environment. To maintain the standards, we are removing all existing user-generated content, including comments, all across all our platforms and experience. Again, this wouldn't be such a huge deal if, like, literally this was just never there to begin with. Then I think people wouldn't have such a problem with it. But because now Crunchyroll is like monopolizing on anime and stuff like that, and we know where they lean, now this is just retarded. Because now it's just, well, now you guys are a bunch of pussies because you can't handle, criticism. To the surprise of few, this change has not gone over well with Crunchyroll's user base, many of whom, if the replies to whoever that person's thread are any indication, enjoyed the communal aspect previously offered by comments and reviews. As such, unhappy fans have begun to send complaints directly to Crunchyroll themselves via their publicly available support lines. I mean, yeah, bombard them with that stuff. Say that they're fucking idiots for changing it. And that their job should be to provide high quality, respectable localizations of anime and just be a video streaming service. That's it. If you have terms and guidelines of what you can post and say and blah, 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 which are already established, I think, just overall on the internet in general, that's one thing. But I honestly think a lot of the reason why this is done is probably because to actual people who work at Crunchyroll, and they're just such weak-spirited people that they're like, oh, my feelings are hurt. However, given how quickly and resolutely, oh my gosh, there's the word of the day that I can't pronounce apparently, this change has been enshrined as a matter of official policy. It presently seems unlikely that the platform or their parent company, Sony, will actually listen to their users and roll it back. Of course they won't. Between the disabling of comments, the constant butchering of subtitles, and its ever-buggy player, at this point one has to admit, while it's convenient for watching anime, the overall Crunchyroll experience is unpleasant and anti-consumer through and through. Yep, and that's why you got to talk with your wallet, cancel your subscription to Crunchyroll, and up to you, if you really want to drive that knife in deep into their cold heart, sail the seven seas, I guess. To not only not give them money, but I guess have them lose money, because they are so anti-piracy. I mean, vote with your wallet, I guess, as you've heard people say. And sadly, it's probably only going to get worse. Yep. Crunchyroll's choice to remove the comments kill any further engagement with their shows. Exactly, because they don't want engagement. They want it to where the slop that they put out just gets consumed and the hopes that people will just keep returning. That and the reviews help people find more if they're going for a certain genre or a theme of a show. Oh, yeah, the player somehow got even worse than the days it was a pirate site, which I didn't think was possible. Isn't that the ultimate irony? They're so anti-piracy, but literally Crunchyroll was a pirate site. Hilarious. So that ties into this other article I found. Not that one. This one. Also from Bounding Into Comics. Apparently, the Western Industry Insider warns anime content bubble is probably going to burst soon. Says merch sales have fallen off a cliff. So in the opinion of one noted veteran of the Western anime industry, the booming anime content bubble seen in recent years is unfortunately very much on the verge of popping. The trouble warning regarding the industry's supposedly impending future was first leveled to the public courtesy of, Anime News Network. Oh, if they're covering it, then maybe it actually is happening. And Media OCD, a disc production company best known for their work on Discotheque's various release, founder Justin Savakis, taking it to his personal Twitter account on July 7th, he asserted, I still have 2 meetings to go this AX, but so far my takeaways are, number 1, anime content bubble is probably going to burst soon. Way too many shows and nobody can handle it. Not fans nor industry. 2, anime merch sales have fallen off a cliff. especially figures. Everyone's kind of neutral face emoji. He added the emoji meant to communicate that his peers are currently feeling tense and uneasy towards the whole situation. Well, in order to rebuild the foundation, you have to wipe it entirely clean first. So if that sucker needs to burst and burn to the ground, then so be it. You guys literally had it back in the 90s and early 2000s. Literally had it. And I would say a big part of why this is failing is, of course, because of the woke ideology. It's because, especially for Western localization, is that ideology became part of the product. It had to be presented that way. It had to be. And if you don't like it, you're not welcome in the industry, which, of course, the ultimate truth of the matter is the people who are saying this hated the industry to begin with, or were a bunch of pussies and only are saying this for clout and are desperately trying to keep their skeletons hidden in the closet so they do not get canceled and still maintain power. That's what's going to happen. It's the same thing with the retro video game bubble too. And people thinking, oh, it's never going to burst, and you're keep hiking prices of rare NES games that are just absolute garbage and retards are paying high price to have it. Let that sucker burn. But even back in those days, it was one of the lower rated pirate sites by its peers. I hate that they mistreated the IPs the way they have, especially since the quality of their Blu-rays and merch have been poorly handled. Exactly. Yep. So pressed by a fellow anime fan as to whether or not, quote, we're heading towards another 2007, a reference to the infamous anime industry crash that resulted from the 2008 global finance crisis and led to a drastic dip in both the number of series produced in Japan and an amount licensed in the West. He further opined, this looks very different, although both were heavily caused by macroeconomic conditions. To be honest, as to just what specific macroeconomic conditions were causing the industry's current predicament, when later asked by another user as to just why merch sales were dying, he revealed high inflation. No thanks to you guys. You guys are the assholes that caused high inflation because of your ideology, because you have a wonderful commander-in-chief currently who is aware 24/7 all day long. He can requote. He can, switch between short memory and long-term memory at the drop of a hat. I'm talking about the wonderful Joe Biden. Never said a racist thing in his entire life. And, of course, did phenomenal work during the first debate against that bad orange man. High inflation and less time spent at home post-COVID. Finally pressed as to what, quote, the bursting of the anime bubble will entail. He speculated probably having the number of new shows each season, which is still 50, we may not even notice. Though dire, his prediction is not entirely out of left field, especially in light of the very real fact that they are currently far more series being produced than most audience could ever hope to watch. I know, rather foolish, because they're just looking on for that next Dragon Ball Z or My Hero to latch on and then just continue to run with it to make up that amount of money that they're putting into all these shows. For example, in the summer 2024 season, there are a total of 51 proper series currently airing, with a total of 45 of them being brand new productions. Looking ahead, the calendar doesn't get any lighter, as 50 animes are currently scheduled to premiere in the fall 2024 season. Suffice it to say, with so many series vying for a limited amount of audience attention, only a handful at best will even have a hope of becoming a financial or reputational success. Yep. That, and we aren't getting the cool stuff from Japan, and the few they do have don't ship everywhere, which I hate greatly. Yep. Ultimately, whether or not Savakis is actually onto something will only be proven with time. Let's just hope that should the anime industry actually crash, it'll have little to no effect on the recent tokusatsu boom. At the very least, not before the West gets a proper Blu-ray release of Kamen Rider Kabuto. So we got, we could read the comments here, but I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Like, do you guys think it's going to burst? And if it does burst, will you, if it does give birth to that dreaded economic fail and that bubble bursting, will you guys care about it? Because I'm in the mindset of, man, if you want to rebuild that foundation and make it a more solid foundation, you got to destroy everything's got to get destroyed. Everything's got to burn, baby. And of course, I mean that hypothetically, not actually. Don't be a bunch of faggots about it. All the haters out there. Oh, my goodness gracious. Video game industry sucks. The anime industry sucks. And we all know the reason why. It's just that these people don't want to admit that it's that the problem. Because it's all for that clout. But let's end on something positive. You know, apparently Arc System Works is working on a new 3D Double Dragon. The fighting game developed acquired the IP back in 2015. This comes from Video Game Chronicle. So it's claiming it's doing a 3D revival of the classic beat-em-up Double Dragon, which I enjoyed that series. I think I liked Streets of Rage more. According to the latest issue of Japanese magazine Famitsu, the new game will faithfully recreate the action of the original side-scrolling titles with characters recreated in 3D with Arc System Works fighting game know-how. Arc System Works is the developer of many popular fighting games such as Guilty Gear Strive, Dragon Ball Z Fighter, and Grand Blue Fantasy Versus. So according to Famitsu, the new Double Dragon will be released in 2025 for PS5, PS4, Xbox, and PC. The original Double Dragon was a hit arcade game which helped establish the beat-em-up genre in 1980s. Yep. Arc System Works acquired the Double Dragon IP back in 2015 and later released Double Dragon 4, an authentic follow-up with the help of developers with help from developers of the original games, including director Kishimoto Yoshihisa. And the game received mixed to poor reviews from critics, however. It currently has a Metacritic score of 49 on PlayStation 4. Eurogamer wrote in its review at the time, it takes a while to acclimatize to Double Dragon 4's willfully archaic rhythm. Some player will submit to the charm spell it is trying to cast, yet stripped of the context of time, the 1980s, and space, the amusement arcade, where every life has a financial cost attached, that spell has been severely weakened. I mean, I guess I enjoyed when I played Streets of Rage 4. I thought they did that successfully, and it didn't really have the need of the financial costs attached to it via arcade. I mean, I've been playing MAME arcades all the while. I've been going ham on X-Men. I just lowered the number one world record again on that one. I can play that shit all day, every day. I guarantee you, if you literally just mimic a game that was done in the past and do it, I'm still waiting for a company to do this. A big AAA company literally just copying and pasting of the charm of what successful games were in the past. Maybe update it, make it a little bit more graphically enhanced in terms of like today's technology and stuff like that, and just see how it does. I guarantee you it would succeed. Guarantee you. But they don't want to take that chance. I want anime and games to be fun again. No meddling, no ego, no compromised stupidity. I agree. I don't even care who works on it in terms. As long as their mindset is video games first, politics second, and it's not being fisted in the final product, that's all I care for. And again, these people who say, well, video games were always political. No, they weren't. Not in the terms that you guys are talking about. Again, they like to change the definition. Their idea of politics, meaning what they're talking about, their ideology, XYZ. It was always like that, which is weird because a lot of them weren't. And if they were told well, but these people can't make good stories. They can't create interesting new characters. They have to bastardize everything because, again, they're doing the copy and paste method in a really shitty way. And they're literally taking out everything that was charmful about what made it successful and just reversing everything and thinking, well, we'll make our money back because people should like it because it's this series, right? And you're like, no, look at Star Wars. Complete dumpster fire of absolute garbage made by some gay woman who doesn't have any clue of what Star Wars is. And this is coming from someone who knows very little lore about Star Wars aside from the original trilogy. Oh my goodness gracious. But one last thing that caught my interest before we sign off. And if you're enjoying the show, aside from all that technological crap that I was having, or that failure technology and that boomer moments, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button and turn on notifications to get notified when I go live so you can have more chances to see me boomer things and suck at troubleshooting. And if you want to go beyond helping the channel by just pushing the algorithm, maybe check out membership and subscription tiers and any other social medias listed in the descriptions below or on my link tree. We're on Kick, Rumble, YouTube, and X. Oh, you mean the therapy session turned into a show? Yeah, that one. The Jackalite or whatever, people are calling it. So Niche Gamer, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I like the series. So this caught my interest. Splintered Fate coming to PC in 2024. I don't know how good this game did. So I don't know. If you guys liked it, it's coming to PC in 2024. It's announced that it's getting a PC port later this year. So it's coming to Windows PC via Steam sometime later this year in Q4 of 2024. A new cooperative action game to come to Switch via the eShop on July 17th as a timed exclusive. This game was released as an Apple Arcade exclusive back in 2023. So Splinter is captured. The Foot Clan are on the attack. New York City is in chaos. Enter the fight. Adapt to repeat. Portal loop of Splintered Fate to set things straight. So with April and Metalhead analyzing recovered artifacts for clues, the Turtles battle to recover their father from the clutches of the Foot Clan. However, as the gang gets closer to Splinter's otherworldly location, an even greater threat lingers. Again, I don't know how successful this game was. I think it definitely caught my interest. And if it's definitely like trying to mimic Turtles in Time or like the OG arcade, might be something to check out. I hate Apple games. Oh, well. It was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, so again, I didn't know. But, whoops. Gay Furry Hackers Breach Project 2025's Heritage Foundation. Oh my gosh. As intriguing as that is, I feel like I do not want to go down that rabbit hole tonight. No way. But yeah, if you're a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan and you somehow liked Splintered Fate, maybe check it out. But that's pretty much all I had for tonight. Again, let's see that. Park Place. The actress, Sweet Baby Ink Defender, who says, just seeing if there's anything else here. I think that's all I have for tonight. Yep, I think we'll go ahead and call that. What the fuck? I think we'll go ahead and call that for tonight. So, once again, thanks again for hanging out with me. You guys have a good rest of your night. Take care. God bless. Catch you guys on the flip side. You guys have a good rest of your day. Tomorrow we'll be hopefully finishing up Onimusha. And then we will end Friday with another Power Up podcast. But thanks again. Take care. Catch you guys later and have a good rest of your night. Peace.